Okay, this is Frederick Noad, first book for the guitar, part 1, and I'm on page 14, and these are the exercises for the notes on the first string. And I'm just going to go ahead and play them, but before you play along with me, prep your fingers. We'll talk about proper left hand positions, and you want to prep the two fingers. First finger on F, third finger on G. Actually, it's better to put the third finger down first and then reach with your first finger and then lift them both and hold them poised and ready. So we're going to do it slowly, and then I'm going to do it a little more up to speed. I'm going to do it again up to speed, and then I'm going to do the teacher's parts. So it'll be fun to play along with the accompaniment part. And I'm going to do that slowly and then also more up to speed. So we're going to get right into it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards, okay? 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. M, I, M, I. Relax, take your time, watch this measure, it changes notes. When you get to the end of the line, don't stop. It's like reading a book. You go right to the next line. Okay. Now I'm going to do it a little faster. 1, 2, ready, go. Now the teacher's part, and you can play along with me. Remember, if you look at the music, my part, I'm doing half notes. So you're playing 2 beats while I'm holding a chord for 2 beats. So we're not right together with the rhythm. Like I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4. Check my tuning. Okay. The room's kind of warm, so my third string and my second string went sharp a little bit. So again, we're going to go slowly. This is the accompaniment, but you want to play along with me. So it's a lot more fun to play with the other part and to learn to play with somebody. You know, that's part of what we're doing. Okay, slowly. 1, 2, ready, start. Okay, now I'm going to do the accompaniment to exercise 1 faster. Okay, play it with me. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's exercise number 1. Now, let's talk a little bit about all the things we need to be thinking about. We're doing rest strokes with the right hand. Make sure you don't forget, don't play up into the air. Play down onto the next string with an extended finger, and you're alternating your fingers. M, I, M, I. Make sure that that you have an immediate exchange of fingers. It's like one is up when the other one's down. It's like two pistons. One comes up while the other one's down, and they exchange immediately. You don't want to have them both resting like that, and you don't want them both up in the air where you're just bouncing off the string like that. You want one down till the other one plays. Okay? So that's the right hand. Now with the left hand, this is the first time we've used the left hand. And if you've never fretted a note on the guitar, that's okay. We're going to talk about that. These metal wires that go across the wood of the fretboard are called frets. And when you play a fret, like if I play my first finger on F, the first fret, I'm putting my finger right up against the fret. I can feel it almost like a little bump in the carpet. You know, I can feel my finger coming up to the fret. It's raised up a little bit. And that's a good thing. One thing, you don't want to be directly on top of the fret because it'll sound kind of dull and dead, and it won't ring very long at all. I'm sorry. But you want to be just to the left of the fret wire, and you don't have to press as hard when you're positioned there. If I move away from the fret, I can still get a note, but it starts buzzing. Now I can press harder and get the note to ring, but why do that when you can not have to press as hard and you're playing up to the fret? Plus, the primary reason for playing up to the frets is that you're going to be a much more accurate player. If you're only playing in that one spot right up to the fret, and you might think, well, how can I know that I'm always going to play at that spot? It becomes a habit. Your hand learns the spread of 3 frets. And that's another thing. When we play F to G, you might think, oh, I need to lift the F to play the G. No, you want to hold the F when you play the G. And that's partly to learn that spread of the fingers. It doesn't sound any different, like if I lift my first finger, because you're only going to hear the highest note, the highest fret that you're fretting, you know, and you're not going to hear any other fingers that are pressing other frets, you know, before the one that is the highest note, if that makes sense. But you'll figure it out. But when we go in this direction, like if I'm doing all 4 fingers, I'm gonna keep the fingers down as I play. I'm not gonna do this and peel them off. But it's more efficient. Plus, your hand learns positioning better. Now, but if I started with the pinky and I go the other direction, I have to take the pinky off to play the third finger. I have to take the third finger off to play the second finger. So that rule of keeping the fingers down does not apply if you're going that direction. You have to take them off. But when you're going this direction, you don't have to take them off, and it's good technique to keep them down. If you're only playing 3 fingers, like 1 to 3 to 4, or 1 to 2 to 3, you would hold whatever fingers you can. And that also, I should mention that when you go from F to G, you don't need to put the second finger on the second fret. We're not even playing that note until several exercises through the book. I can't remember what exercise it is, but It's way on into the book when we start playing F sharp, then you would play the second fret. But you don't want to put extra fingers down. So leave the finger if there's no need to lift it, but you don't need to put extra fingers down. And so if you see when I go from F to G, I'm holding the F, and actually fingers 2 and 4, they might look to you like they're down, but they're really off the string a little bit, and they're just hanging out in the neighborhood. I'm not pulling them tightly away or trying to straighten them out like that. That's not good. You want to keep them in the neighborhood, but don't put them down. Okay? So now to get into your position, and we should talk a little bit about the thumb, because I see this every day with students. The thumb peeping over the neck like that, like it's near the bass strings and it's over the neck. That's not good for your fingers. Notice how my fingers are now kind of slanted and they're all crunched together, and my hand is more under the neck. It's because my thumb is over top of the neck. And you don't want that. You don't want to approach the neck like this. We're approaching the neck more from underneath like this. And the thumb really should be flat behind the neck, and it would be in this lower quadrant near where the first string is that you're playing. You don't want the thumb up near the bass strings when your fingers are playing the first strings. So keep the thumb also about 1 fret ahead of where the first finger is. So my first finger's on F on the first fret. My thumb's going to be behind the neck about where my second finger would be. So it's like 1 fret, 1 step ahead. A lot of people innately put the thumb with the tip of their first finger, and that's not quite correct. You want the thumb 1 step ahead, and you never want the thumb like way over, 3 frets behind. Because see, I've got a really good balanced hand position, and you want your hand to be parallel with the neck as we play through these exercises. If I put my thumb way over here, look at what happens to the fingers. See? So positioning is very important, and it's training too. We're training the fingers, and so it's not difficult. We're only doing 3 notes, E, F, and G. And now I should talk about the music staff. We've already done with the open strings, the first 3 open strings, E, which was the top space of the music staff, and then B, which was the center line of the music staff, and then G, which is on the second line from the bottom of the staff. Here, we've already learned the open E on the top space. The line above that E, which is the very top line of the music staff, is F. So if the black note head is on that line, that's F. If it's on the space below it, it's E. So E, F, and then the space that's above the top line of the staff is G. So these notes are very close together, whereas the first 3 open strings were pretty far apart from each other. So it wasn't hard to see a difference between an open E and an open B and an open G. But here, E, F, and G are very close together. E is the space, F is the top line, G is the space above the F. And so you want to notice when notes change. And so that's basically most of what you need to know. And you want to make sure that you're not rushing, that you're playing an even beat. You have 4 beats in a measure, and then when you get to the measure, you see a bar line. That is not a stopping place. And you want to make sure you're not just kind of running and stopping, running and stopping. The worst thing to do, and number 1, would be to play 4 notes really fast, like E, 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 take a break, F, 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 take a break, G, 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 G. You want to play with rhythm, and you want to feel a pulse to like I say, don't play any faster than you could nod your head comfortably. Okay? Now, when you do it more up to speed, you might be a little faster than this. So it's pretty easy, the first three measures, and then you get to measure 4. You've already played the G 4 times. You play it one more time, and you go G, F, E, F. So suddenly now you're changing notes on every beat, where you were playing 4 times on one note. This notebook is tricky that way. He'll go up when you think he's going to go down. He'll go down when you think he's going to go up. He'll change notes when you think he's going to stay on the same note, and he'll stay on the same note when you think he's going to change. And a lot of these simple exercises, they're designed to trick you a little bit to make sure you're really reading the notes. And just tell yourself it's E, F, and G. I can learn to read those 3 notes and just get really good at reading them. That's basically all you need to know. Oh, also the second to the last measure, and this is another little trick that Noad does, because if you look at the first line where you're playing the 4 G's, and then you look at the second to the last measure on the second line, it'll go, you might think it's going to be 4 G's, but it's G, 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 F, E. Instead of G, 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 it's G, 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 F. And so a lot of people don't notice that. And they practice it all week playing G, 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 G. So you have to really be observant, double check that every note is right. And basically that's it. That's all I want to talk about with the first exercise. If you have questions, you could email me. But have fun with this. You know, you have to love the process of learning. And you know, like, you know, the old adage, every journey starts with the first step, and it's the same with guitar. It may seem like you've got a long way to go, but you have to enjoy the process as we're learning, and just have fun with it and realize that you are getting somewhere. You know, it may not feel like you are, but you really are getting somewhere. But you have to remember that you have to teach yourself for the most part. When I see a student once a week for private lessons, I'm seeing them for a very short time, considering all the hours in the week. And the rest of the week, the student really has to be their own teacher, and you have to guide yourself through this. I just put signposts up and say, be careful about this sign, be careful not to do that, make sure you do this, and that's all I can do. I can just point the way, and but you have to really pay attention and take note of those things, and when you're playing, make sure you're doing them, and it should be fairly painless, really. So have fun with it. Subscribe to John Hedger Guitar Studio, like my Facebook page, and I'll see you in the next lesson, exercise 2. All right, have fun.